Deep in the Himalayan foothills, nestled among towering pines and shrouded in mist, lay the village of Solace. Isolation was its shield, tradition its lifeblood. Here lived Vikram, a young man who breathed the air of the mountains and dreamed of the hunt. Hunting was not just a pastime in their village, it was a legacy. It was woven into the very fabric of their existence. Vikram had inherited this mantle from his father, a skilled hunter. Vikram's father had taught him to respect the forest and to fear its secrets. The forest held dangers. Vikram knew this, he respected it, but he wasn't afraid. Vikram's heart quickened. He was close. He could feel it. The air was thick with the musk of the tiger. His prey was near. Vikram was to be married soon. His bride, a girl named Priya from a neighboring village. The wedding was a celebration. It was also a transition. Vikram would take on his father's role. He would become the protector. He would provide. The weight of this responsibility was heavy. Vikram felt it keenly. He was determined to honor his father's memory. He would prove himself worthy. The hunt was his chance. He would bring back the hide of a tiger, a symbol of his strength. The old rifle felt familiar in his hands. A gift from his father. It had taken down countless animals. Now it was Vikram's turn. The tiger would be his prize. The forest was alive. It teemed with unseen eyes. Whispers seemed to follow Vikram's every step. He felt a prickle on the back of his neck, as if he was being watched. He pushed these thoughts aside. Old wives' tales, stories told to frighten children. There were no such things as ghosts in these woods, only the spirits of the animals, and those he respected. The air grew colder. The forest seemed to hush. Even the birdsong ceased. An unnatural silence had descended. Vikram felt a shiver run down his spine. This was not right. Days bled into nights. Vikram stalked his prey. The tiger was elusive. Its cunning matched his own. But Vikram would not be deterred. He knew the forest better. He found the tiger's tracks. Fresh. The beast had been here recently. Vikram's heart pounded. He was close. This was it. This was his moment. The moment he would prove himself. He followed the tracks, moving silently through the undergrowth. He held his breath, listening for any sound. A twig snapping, a rustle in the leaves. The hunt had begun. An unearthly roar shattered the silence. It echoed through the trees, a sound of pure primal rage. Vikram had never heard anything like it. It wasn't the roar of an animal. It was something else. Something ancient. Something evil. Terror gripped him. He had stumbled into something he didn't understand. He should turn back. But the hunter's instinct was strong. He had to see what creature could make such a sound. Vikram pushed forward, moving cautiously, his finger on the trigger of his rifle. The roar echoed in his mind. It was a warning. He should have heeded it, but it was too late. The clearing was ahead. Vikram saw a flash of orange and black stripes. The tiger. It was magnificent, powerful, deadly. Vikram raised his rifle, his finger tightened on the trigger. This was his moment. But as he looked through the scope, his blood ran cold. The tiger was gone. In its place stood a man, his father, covered in blood, a single bullet wound in his chest. Vikram screamed, a primal scream of terror and despair. His finger instinctively pulled the trigger. The rifle bucked in his hands. The smell of gunpowder filled the air, but there was no satisfying thud of a bullet finding its mark, only the echo of his own madness. Vikram stumbled back. He fell to his knees, his eyes darted around the clearing. Empty. There was no tiger, no man, only the bloodstains on the leaves, and the echo of the gunshot ringing in his ears. The wind rustled the leaves, whispering his name, mocking him. Vikram felt a presence behind him, cold and menacing. He didn't need to turn around to know what it was. He was being hunted, but not by an animal, by something far more sinister. Something that wore the face of his past. Something that fed on fear, and he was its prey. They found Vikram days later, wandering in the woods, mumbling incoherently. His eyes were wild with terror, his clothes torn and bloody. Yet there were no wounds on his body, no explanation for his state. The village elder took one look at Vikram and shook his head sadly. He had seen this before and knew what it meant. He summoned the village shaman, a wizened old woman, feared and respected in equal measure. The shaman examined Vikram. Her eyes narrowed as she muttered words under her breath. Words of ancient power, words of warning. The spirit of the tiger, it has claimed him. The village listened in hushed silence as the shaman spoke. She told them of the ancient pact, the balance that must be maintained between man and nature, a life for a life. She explained that Vikram had taken a life in the forest, and now the forest had taken something from him, his sanity, his humanity. She pointed to Vikram's eyes, once filled with life, now cold and predatory, like the eyes of a tiger. "He is lost to us," she whispered. "He is one with the beast now." The villagers gasped. They couldn't believe it. Vikram, their hunter, their protector, he was gone, consumed by the very thing he had sought to conquer. Priya refused to believe it. She clung to the hope that Vikram could be saved. But as days turned into weeks, she was forced to confront the truth. The man she loved was gone. In his place was something else, something wild, something dangerous. The villagers avoided Vikram. They feared him. They whispered tales of his transformation, of the night he had become the beast. Vikram became a recluse, living on the outskirts of the village, shunned and alone. Vikram, or what was left of him, roamed the forest. He hunted, but not like before. Now he hunted with the instincts of a predator, driven by an insatiable hunger. He had become the very thing he had sworn to destroy. Years passed. The village of Solace moved on. The memory of Vikram faded into legend. A cautionary tale whispered around campfires, a reminder of the price of transgression, the delicate balance between man and nature. But the forest never forgets. And the spirit of the tiger continued to roam, waiting for its next victim. The cycle would continue. The hunter would become the hunted, and the forest would claim its due. For in the heart of every predator, there lies a prey waiting to be awakened. The echoes of Vikram's story lingered, a constant reminder that the line between man and beast was thin and easily broken. In the end, the hunter had become the hunted, consumed by the very darkness he sought to control. The forest held its secrets close, a silent guardian of ancient laws, and those who dared to defy it did so at their own peril. For in the wilderness, there is always a price to pay, and sometimes the price is your soul. The story of Vikram, the hunter who became the tiger, serves as a chilling reminder. A reminder that our deepest fears often lie within, and that sometimes the monsters we hunt are the monsters we become.